Hey everybody, welcome back to HitPoint. Baku, how are you
Hello.
doing this evening?
Doing great, sir. How are you doing?
I am doing all right, man. It has been another week. It is
Has
crazy
been
how time
another week.
flies.
It has been yet another week, man. This is the show that I look forward to every week. I get
Yeah,
to see Derek's face.
this is legitimately like one of the highlights of my week. I get to not worry about like work. I get to not worry about like doing projects around the house. This is my time to just hang out with my good buddy here, Baku-san JRPG, and
I'm
just
sorry, what? This is not work. This is totally work. What?
not for me. I mean, my work comes later. I do the editing.
That makes sense. I was like, wait, I'm on a deadline. What are you talking about?
Yeah. No, but
uh,
this is one of my favorite parts of the day. And
it
and
really
we
is.
get to hear and see from our lovely listeners. I imagine that they're lovely.
A couple of them. Yeah.
You know who you are.
You know who you are. Oh boy.
Welcome back to
Okay.
Hit Point, everybody. The RPG news show, the niche and anime news show, where we talk about basically anything that interests us, and we'll talk about trailers. We'll watch some trailers and talk about rumors, and we'll even have a Q&A session at the end where we'll respond to super chats and that sort of thing. We stream every Sunday evening, usually around 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, and yeah. That's kind of what we do here. And
Yes.
what would you say is our top well, actually, I don't know. Would you say this is our top headline here, Baku?
I know nothing about this, but apparently the Witcher series is dropping Geralt. Who's Geralt?
Yeah, Geralt. The Geralt of
Geralt.
Rivia. I mean, we don't well, we'll talk a little bit about that. He might be being, left behind. We'll find out
Mhm.
when we get to our discussion about it in a little bit.
Yes.
But yeah, that's kind
It's
of the
definitely
thing
going to be
making.
a yeah, it's going to be a little bit more of a TED talk. You have to educate me on this one, sir.
Oh, okay, sure. I mean,
Tell me more.
I'll have to educate myself a little bit too, but I'll tell you a little bit more about it as we go. But yeah, let's go ahead and start with some comments from last week's podcast episode.
Yes, let's do that. Okay, so we've got one from Joe Gurr. I think it's Joe Gr. I'm gonna say Joe Gurr. Joe Gurr.
Yeah.
Add a couple more R's, man. It would be Joe
Oh
Gurr.
no.
Quote, I finished Triangle Strategy yesterday and I liked it a lot. Actually, I think most of the reviewers did not finish the game, otherwise, the reviews would be better. To that, I say, yeah, most reviewers for publications, in fact, do not finish games before publishing reviews, especially RPGs, because they're so gosh darn long.
Yep.
It's absolutely true. I've seen it happen too many times and this usually happens with like larger publications with deadlines and writers on
Oh
payroll.
yeah.
It's not a passion project. And that's why people like Mr. Derek here, who just releases
Yeah.
reviews whenever he's actually done with the game,
Yeah.
and give some time to think about it.
I aim to get them
Um,
out monthly, but it doesn't happen. But that's like an overarching thing I aspire to. But yeah, very few people do play games to completion before they review them, which is one of the reasons why I agree. I wholeheartedly agree with that. If they had finished more of these RPGs, not just this one, but in general, I think RPGs would be scored a bit better because yeah, I mean, imagine trying to hand in a book report to a teacher for, a book that you were told to read, but you only read the
mhm,
first chapter or two because you had a
yeah,
deadline, right? That's to
yeah.
me that's what that feels like. So heck, this entire channel basically just stems from the fact that is a problem that I perceive as well. So, um,
Yeah.
otherwise, like when
I
I talk
tried.
about, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, otherwise, when I talk about games that I haven't finished, I always try to make that extremely clear in my what I call first impressions videos, where
Mhm,
I'll talk about like, oh, this is what I thought of like the first 10, 15 hours. And
mhm.
that's I guess just a really informal, just off the cuff, here's what I think about it. But we'll see what I really think, after 100 hours.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
that's basically what other people consider a review in the real biz.
Yeah, yeah. I wish that they would make more of a distinction and say this is just my first impression versus saying, hey, this is our review, this is what we think of it. Um,
Hmm.
I think this whole game review thing stems from like movie reviews,
I was
right?
gonna
Movie
say,
reviews
imagine a
that
movie review where you could only watch the first 15 minutes.
right, right. But but movies run like what 3 hours max, and it's an extremely long movie, right?
Hmm.
But within reason, movie critics can finish, and they do all finish the movies before they put out their reviews. Game reviews, not so much, but we also have that same expectation from. And I think that's the reason why like Metacritics is so divided sometimes when it comes to
Hmm.
like publication review versus like user review, because
Yeah.
user reviews it tends to be well when they're not being review bombed, they tend to consist of people who actually finished the game versus critics who probably played the first like 3, 4, 5, 10 hours
Hmm.
max,
Yeah.
when
The
a game might
distinction.
be like
Yeah.
right, right.
It's like a
It's
distinction
just
between people who care and people who are paid to do it.
yeah, basically. I mean, the heck, they might even really care, but they really don't have time. Like
Yeah.
the next game is on their docket, they got to get to it. They're on a payroll,
Do you
so
know do you know if book reviewers have similar deadlines? Like when people review books,
Huh,
I wonder
that's a good one.
if
Yeah.
they have similar issues where they only read a few chapters or what
Mhm.
they speed read it, I guess. I don't
You know,
know. I don't know.
that's a good question. That's a good question. I actually don't know either. Yeah. But anyways, good comment. Thank you so much, Joe. Uh, the next one we got here is from Matthew Cox, who says, "Who originally composed the intro theme? It's class." Derek, Derek's gonna have to answer this one for us.
Well, the original song was actually made um, by an anonymous writer and put up for sale. The rights were put up for sale on pond5.com about 15 years ago, or well, not 15 years, more like 10 years ago. I bought the rights to it, and now I have it as a theme song, and I've had other people remix it every once in a while. So I have a remix that I now play. I used to play at the beginning of all my reviews, but now people won't stick around for the entire theme song to play anymore. So I barely have any of it anymore. But at the end of my reviews, I'll have a piano rendition playthrough that I
Mm.
commissioned on Fiverr. So it's not a very good story so far. But the one you listen to at the beginning of each episode is by my good friend Eric Ladd from Eric Ladd Studios, also known as Retro Game Remix, who just is an incredible friend, incredible musician. He actually did he wrote the whole and performed the drums, the guitar, the bass. Like he's a incredibly talented musician.
That's
And
insane.
yeah, and he basically turned that chip tune mix into what you hear as because I asked for a ska punk rendition, and I think he delivered
Mm.
in spades. So huge
Yeah.
thank you to Eric Ladd for putting that together.
Yeah, the first time Derek shared that with me, it's like, I got something exciting to share. Here,
Hmm.
listen to this. I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds good. What's that? That's for our show. Like, really? That's for our show? What did you spend on this thing? Like,
I spent a bit.
what are
I
you
spent a
doing?
bit.
Like, what are you doing, man?
It's okay.
uh,
It's fine. It's worth its
I was,
weight in gold.
I was like, well,
Whatever its weight is, I don't know.
Derek's going all in on this. I'm like, all righty, he's serious. Okay, cool.
All
So
right.
hopefully that answers the question there, Matthew.
Yeah. Now we also have a new 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts from E Nguyen. I think I said that correctly.
Yeah,
I
that's actually wow. I'm actually really impressed. You actually did pronounce that
I
correctly.
tried to do some research.
Yeah.
Now they say this show is great because these guys know a ton about the industry and are always full of insight, witty remarks, and great breadth of content. They're ordinary guys with years of attention and passion to the genre, and it really shows.
Wow.
That's really kind.
Wow.
That is
Wow.
such a glowing. I know that's a tough. How do I follow that up, right?
Okay, let's take it a step at a time. Let's see. Knows ton about the industry. Sure, we've
False.
been gamers
No.
for a long time.
I mean, sure. We've played a lot of games. I know nothing
Yeah,
about the
but
industry.
but not. Yeah, I was just about to say, it's like we played games for years, but neither of us have worked in the game industry. Always full of insight. I mean, by insight you mean just
Puns. Yes.
puns, witty remarks. I'm not sure where
Puns. More puns.
are you reviewing the right show right now?
uh I appreciate
No,
it. We
yeah,
appreciate
no, thank
the
you.
kind reviews so much. And if you guys who are listening and watching enjoy the show, please remember to give us a rating, preferably a good one, and maybe a like or whatever it is on your podcasting platform of choice is always very much appreciated. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much, Ewan. Much appreciated. And
Thank you, sir.
also, it occurred to me after we wrapped up our show last week that we got that really awesome voicemail.
Yes.
And we played it, and I completely failed to mention the phone number, and we haven't gotten any new voicemails. So I feel like I should make it a thing now where I mention that you can reach us by voicemail. You can leave us a voicemail and we'll play it on the show. It is 785-337-3805. And you can just leave us a 30-second or a minute long message. The one that we listened to is actually close to like 2 minutes, and I had to cut it down. So you can leave as much as you want, I guess, but I'll have to cut it down to save us a little bit of time. But yeah, leave us voicemails because we like listening to them. It's always awesome to have that little bit of extra audience interaction, and be able
Yes,
to
absolutely.
actually hear back. Like Bokksu and I, we stream a lot, and we're often interacting with the chat and just like talking back and forth, like having a conversation, but it's like a conversation we can only actually hear one side of so often.
Mhm.
So it's really awesome to be able to put voices to names and to usernames even. So
Yeah,
that's super awesome.
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
And I don't know if I mentioned this yet, but also as far as like super chats go, we also will be responding to those at the end of every episode as per usual. So if you feel like you have any questions or comments that you would like us to take a look at and respond to, feel free to throw those in the chat and in the super chats, and we'll make sure to respond to those at the end.
Absolutely. Any burning questions, any remarks that you're just dying to hear us answer to, definitely do that super chat. Otherwise, if you just want to contribute towards the discussion, if we throw any side quests at you, leave them in the comments after the show.
Yeah. I used to have a series of well, I thought it was going to be a series of videos called Side Questions, where I would just like tackle things, and I was like, you know what? That's such a good name. But it never became a video series. So maybe when we send people on side quests, they should be side questions, eh? I like it. I think
like that.
Yeah, we should put that to use.
Yes. let's do that. Let's do that.
Yeah.
It's free, unlike the intro that you it is a great intro, but man, you spent so much on it. What are you doing?
The theme song, yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
And I think that the last set of side questions that I sent out was actually just a really basic tie-in to last week's sponsor spot, which was Bokksu, about the Sakura, like the inclusion of Sakura in various anime. And I didn't see a whole heck of a lot of responses to that, honestly. I think it's just because it's so ubiquitous that there's not like one like anime that stands out as being like, oh yeah, that one's got all the Sakura. But
yeah,
I think there was. Well, did somebody say? Oh, go ahead.
Well, there's Sakura Tyson, which is that's Sakura Tyson. So Sakura Wars. So I mean, it's in the title. So
okay, sure,
it's there. But otherwise, you're right. Sakura's cherry blossom is such a common thing in typical Japanese like year that I don't think they're like going out of the way to show a specific scene. So
yeah. But anyways, Bokksu is not our sponsor necessarily this year or this episode, but we have Bokksus left over that we're going to be munching on, and you can still, if you want, you can still use our promo code down below to save 10% off of your order. They're not paying me to say that this time, but but Bokksu here and I, but Baku and I.
I'm changing my name to
Bokksu-san JRPG.
Yes.
Perfect. We do get a little bit of a commission if you do choose to partake in these snacks as well. So check that out if you're interested. But otherwise, yeah, I've been trying so hard not to just chow down through this entire box of sweets. Poorly.
I've saved some just for this show today, but after today, they're gone. I actually, you just reminded me that I need to go and get my own subscription. So because I actually so for anyone who wasn't here for last show, I was telling you all that, hey, I was gonna get this box until Derek told me that, oh, we're getting a sponsorship from Bokksu. I was like, really? Okay, maybe I should like hold off. So now that I don't have to hold off anymore, I've just been a little lazy, but I need to go ahead and do that. So enjoy that 10% while it's there, guys. While it's there.
For sure. Now, so you were saying, did you want to provide an update? You said that your mom actually got to try some of these also, didn't she?
Yes, and she loved it. I was telling her about these like box services, and that's like a completely foreign
Concept.
concept for her. And
Yeah.
she was like, "What do you mean they just send you a box?" Like, yeah, they just send you a box of snacks. It's like, why would you do that? You just go to the grocery store. I was like, no, mother, they send you snacks from Japan, that they source locally from different places in Japan. She's like, oh, wow, that must, that must take a lot of time and effort to do. It's like, yeah, well, that's why we're paying them like pretty good money to do this.
It's true.
So, yeah, but I think that now that we've got this lockdown, and I frequent Japan quite a bit. Maybe at times it would be like once a year I would go there. But now that we've been in lockdown mode, I have not been able to visit for the past 2-3 years now. So this is about as close as it gets to actually going over there. So extra value, extra value.
Oh my god, these smell delicious. Okay, we're not going to dwell on this too long, guys. I know that. I know. Last time it went a little bit long, but oh my god, these smell really. Wow, those gobo chips. Wow. Okay, that's
they're great. So yeah, they were done in like 30 minutes. I was just sitting there watching anime and just munched all. I was like, oh my god, wow.
That's awesome.
That's not. It tasted great, but man, this can't be good. It just killed it in 30 minutes. Like,
oh man.
Take your time with the Bokksu. They're supposed to last you a month, but I don't think they're gonna last me a week. So it's supposed to last you a month. Okay.
Well, that's not happening because this is week 2 and they're disappearing. That's for sure. So
fast.
So do you want to move on to this follow up about past release here?
Yes. Let's talk about some updates to past releases. So this is a segment where we talk about things that's already available for you to play, but some updates you may not know about. So Bandai Namco just announced that they will be releasing Tales of Arise and Scarlet Nexus collaboration. Now this collaboration is internal, so it should go pretty swimmingly. Both Tales of Arise and Scarlet Nexus players will receive special items as part of the collaboration. More details on specific dates will be coming, but they're all cosmetic items, and they're all free, and we all like free things. So don't worry, guys. Yeah, when we hear DLC cosmetic, that they're trying to, they're trying to make more money. They're trying to. No, this is free. This is free.
It wasn't until you said that word that I was like, okay, don't care. Free. Okay, I kind of cool.
Yeah,
that's kind of cool now.
Yeah. I mean, both games are just like highly acclaimed. So I think there are a lot of fans here. I think Tales of Arise specifically are just people are just giving me like raving reviews. All of these streamers that I talk to, that I look up to, who do like RPG contents, they're all just raving about Tales of Arise. Like, wow, this is the best Tales I've ever played. And
Wow.
yeah, right. So they'll all be like, before this, it was like Tales of Vesperia, Tales of Symphonia, Tales of Berseria. Those are Tales of the Abyss. Those are like ones I keep hearing about.
Mm-hmm.
And now Tales of
Symphonia.
Arise,
Yep.
yeah, Tales of Arise has now gone like
Top of
above
the
and
list.
just top of the list. And I'm like, wow, okay. And Scarlet Nexus also just raving reviews, a new IP, and people are loving it. They can't wait until there's a Scarlet Nexus 2. So yeah, so there will be an Iron Mask and Flaming Sword from the Tales of Arise series going to Scarlet Nexus,
Mm-hmm.
and the Myoho Muramasa from sorry, let me try that again. Myoho Muramasa from Scarlet Nexus will be going to a Tales of Arise. Again, they're all cosmetic items, so don't expect any stat increases, but they are free. So if you're a fan of either series or both, why don't give it a try if you haven't tried them yet. And look forward to more news when they actually drop. And that's the update.
Nice. Thank you. All right. So we also have some upcoming releases that we can talk a little bit about here. So yeah, did you want to? Here, you go ahead and lead with Coromon here, and we can.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Coromon. Coromon is from Tracksoft and Freedom Games. It is a new Pokemon-like monster taming RPG where players will explore the world of Velua, build up a squad of Coromons, and engage in classic turn-based battles. If you love the idea of Pokemon, but just can't deal with Nintendo, or you just want more classic Pokemon experience, then this game
Mm-hmm.
might just be the right game for you. Do you want to check out the trailer so folks have a good idea what we're talking about?
I do. Let's check this out because I haven't seen this trailer yet either.
Yeah, let's go.
Oh, you know what?
Hmm?
There we go. Actually, hang on a second. I think
Sound?
I don't think that there's any sound. That's what I'm wondering. Oh, I know what my problem is. Yep, I done goofed something here. All right, well, let's try it in Firefox. I was like, you know what? Yesterday, or last time rather, it had all of those inverted colors. And I was like, let's try Chrome today. But then Chrome doesn't have a setup to output to my very specific needed. Yeah. All right. Here, I'll just.
Okay,
Yep, we'll just do it this way.
that's okay.
I tried.
You tried. Oh, there we go. Oh, I hear sound. Okay.
There we go. Sorry about that. Now I can pay attention.
Coromon. Adventure
Oh.
ways across 6 distinct biomes.
That's
6 biomes.
very pretty.
It is
like-
very nice, yeah.
The pixel art on this looks pretty GBA inspired.
Mm-hmm.
I can definitely hear the musical inspiration as well.
I wanted to share this because this actually looks pretty polished. So
Yeah. Yeah, this looks better than the GBA Pokemon games,
yeah.
like by a lot. Like, and that says something because those looked really good. This just looks like an evolution, if you will, of the original GBA titles. Those battle scenes look super clean.
You get these titans, and I'm gonna assume that they're sort of the legendaries equivalent.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. That is going to be on the Switch, Steam, and the Epic Game Store. So PC and the Switch coming at you. What day did I put down? It's coming at you on the 31st. So all the games, all the upcoming releases, by the way, in our show, they're coming within a week. So before our next show, these are all games that are coming out. So March 31st is when this game will be coming out. Again on Steam, Epic, and also the Switch.
Yeah, that looked really good. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, it does look really good. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of like I think I've said this, like I'm not like a huge fan of Pokemon, but
Hmm.
I know that there are a lot of people who really like these sort of games. So I just
Yeah.
really want to make sure that we're capturing these. I mean, otherwise there wouldn't be so many rendition
Oh, for
of
sure.
like, you know, these sort of Pokemon. I forgot which one it was, but there are like a couple of games that are like, oh, these are like the Pokemon killers,
Yeah.
and then and Nintendo's like, yeah, release it on the Switch. We'll see about it being a Pokemon killer.
Yeah. I know which
You
ones you're
think you
talking
just
about.
come?
I remember which ones you're talking about because they
Hmm.
did make some waves for like about a month and then they kind of
Like
just
Tam
disappeared.
Tam,
Yes,
Tam
Temtem.
Tam.
Temtem.
Yeah.
Yep, that was the big one that I
Yeah,
recalled.
Nintendo's kind of like, bring it. You think you can sync us? If you've got what it takes to sync us,
Nintendo's
go
like, if you've
ahead.
got the balls, you know.
Just go for it.
No.
I like it though. I like it. They invite them onto their
But
platforms.
this
Like, please
actually looks
come to
really
our
nice.
platform.
This actually
It
looks really
really
nice though.
does. It really does.
And what's kind of interesting is that Amy actually was telling me, she's like, I watched last week's podcast episode. I was like,
Mhm.
really? And she's like, yeah.
Oh.
And when you talked about Pokemon and how it's going to be, this next one looked like it was going to be maybe a bit more like Arceus.
Mhm.
She's like, I was actually kind of disappointed because she actually played Arceus and
Mhm.
doesn't like it because
Really?
she
Really?
likes the very more basic
Mm.
and that's a good thing because she also bought herself Diamond and Pearl. Oh, not Diamond and Pearl, but she bought herself
Mhm.
one of the remakes of Diamond and Pearl.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I
Like
was,
Brilliant Diamond, I
yeah,
think,
yeah, and
and
Shining Pearl.
Shining
Not
Pearl.
sure
Yeah.
which one she got, but I was like, oh,
Mhm.
really? Okay, interesting. So I guess there's definitely still a high demand in there for people who just want to experience the stock standard that
Mhm.
Pokemon has been putting out for a couple of decades now, I guess.
Yeah, let's call that the classical
Yeah,
Pokemon. Yeah.
yeah.
Um
So we'll
yeah.
see if the next one is. I'm curious if maybe it could merge the two halves, right? Of like the
Mhm.
big open world experience and the classic Pokemon combat system. I
That
don't
would
know.
be interesting. That would be interesting. You know, the I see Pokemon going the way of like Zelda, where you have like
Oh yeah, yeah,
classical
yeah.
Zelda, and
Mm-hmm.
then you have sort of like the modern Zelda that's ever pushing
Yeah,
boundaries. Like, I don't see why they can't do that.
for sure.
They perfected the
That,
playbook.
that's the
Nintendo
model.
perfected.
Exactly,
Yeah,
because when you
they.
go from a 2D platform or a 2D action adventure to a 3D action adventure, you're essentially splitting it in twain. The whole series. Like because nobody who played Link to the Past and then played Ocarina of Time was like, this is exactly like the Zelda that I enjoyed and love, right? I mean, they still loved
Right.
it. It still blew everybody's mind. But
Mhm.
then um after that you had Majora's Mask and
Mhm.
Wind Waker and then
Yeah.
Skyward Sword and on their handhelds you still had the top down Zeldas, uh
Yeah.
the Majora's no not Majora's Mask, the Minish Cap, and
Mhm.
you had the GBA like Oracles of Ages and Seasons, and like that
Mhm.
was, so if you really loved like the original you could go back and play those. And
Mhm.
yeah, I guess I'm just kind of repeating
Yeah.
what you said, but just going, just being way more detailed about it. But yes, you are
Oh my
right.
god.
Zelda just absolutely is what is I guess how you should handle some of those things and split your, if you want to split your giant franchise. That's a fantastic way to do it. Get
God, yeah, no, you're absolutely right. So, hold on, give me 1 second. Let's see. Ton knows a ton about the industry. Check. Always full of insight. Check. Witty remarks. We need more witty remarks now.
oh
We
oh
got
oh
the.
shoot.
Come on, we gotta satisfy our listeners.
I'm just gonna eat these chips now.
Yeah. Okay.
These are so good. What are they?
I, uh, that's what the booklet's for. Read a booklet. The booklet tells you what they are.
Okay.
Alrighty. Well, while you do that, let me move on to the next upcoming release. And that actually we've touched on this game about a month ago, This game is called TERRORbane, and the only reason why I'm bringing this up again is because, again, these games are available before next show, so within a week time. This is a fourth wall breaking meta RPG about game programming where bugs are your friends and the player cheats their way through to challenge the developer. The game is set to release in April 1st, 2022. Again, the game is called TERRORbane. I don't know if you want to watch the trailer again. I just included it in there, but we did watch it last show. This is more of a reminder to folks that this game is coming. So if it's on your radar already, if it sounds like something that you're interested in, definitely check that out.
Yeah, we can watch the trailer. Let's give that another look here.
Sure.
One of these days, I'll get the process completely nailed down.
You know, this is really cool, but I'm launching a game, not a cartoon. We need more drama, more art. How about using stop motion?
This is such a weird trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Really well put together. I mean, how many trailers do you see that actually have like claymation in them?
animation studio here. You decide. I just want it full of explosions, special effects.
I'm just hoping they didn't actually waste all their budget on those. You know?
That's true. There is quite a bit of budget that goes into claymation, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
Then again, he's also just standing behind a desk here, so that part's probably very cheap to produce. How much was this?
$5. Michael's.
Is a comedic adventure where bugs are your friends. Enjoy exploring a crazy and outlandish world full of quirky characters and funny homages to the history of video games.
Funny thing is, it wasn't until after the show last time that I realized that the error in TERRORbane was like the emphasis.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of like all the humor. So, my thoughts on this is still the same. Which is, I'm hoping that this game is not all, all jokes and humor only. It's gonna have some RPG substance for me to sink my teeth into. Because otherwise it'll just be too gimmicky. And jokes get old, like
Yeah.
sometimes, and so it's a little finicky. But if you have a solid RPG to build upon, then this could be a really delightful little gem. So it is being released on PC. So definitely head over to Steam if you want wishlist this if you want to get your hands on it.
For sure.
Yes.
All right. Well,
Okay.
we've got some new games that were also announced here pretty recently, or just one
Yes.
that sort of.
Yes.
Game and a half. There's a couple of announcements, but so
Yeah.
this next one though is a pretty interesting looking indie RPG from the looks of things here. It's going to be coming to Steam and I was going to say Steam and PC, but it's PC via Steam. It's called Stars and Time, and this is an RPG that I feel like I've seen this sort of mechanic a time or two before. It reminds me a little bit of like Undertale from what I've seen in the upcoming trailer that we'll show off in here in a second. But it's like this time looping sort of RPG, and I guess that's something that we've seen a lot of in maybe not RPGs specifically, but I've seen it in other genres. Like A Hat in Time, I think was pretty much tied into that sort of mechanic. Where basically you play as a character named Sifrin, who must travel with his friends to end the tyrannical reign of an evil king. But just as the party's about to succeed, tragedy strikes and the clock resets. So, I mean, it's that sort of thing here where like you'll play up to a certain point, something bad happens, you die, you go back in time to a checkpoint. Kind of reminds me a little bit of ReZero, which is based on a visual novel. Or it reminds me of the anime ReZero, which is really great. But it's based on based on that visual novel. Which
Light novel.
a light novel? Is it a light novel?
Light novel.
I thought it was also. Oh, what's the?
Like visual novel is a different thing.
I thought it was I I'm mistaken then. I thought it was
No.
actually a visual novel.
No, ReZero is the light novel, not a visual novel.
So that's like it's
Yeah.
just like basically a book then, right?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
I-
Yes. An actual light novel series. Yeah.
I thought it was like Higurashi, which is that's
Higurashi is visual novel.
see, I thought it was like that where
Yeah.
like you just get the various bad endings.
But speaking of Higurashi,
Yeah.
I think this game strikes me as a Higurashi situation.
Mm-hmm. Where you get all
Um,
like the bad endings or the wrong endings, the death endings.
Yeah.
Death End Request is sort of well, maybe not quite the same, but
Well, the thing that strikes me is that so the main character is the only person who notices the loop. So each time the loop progresses, he would lose some of his like cheerful veneer, but
Mhm.
he would also gain insight into
Yeah.
what's happening to move towards some kind of resolution, right?
Yeah.
So, and in that vein, it reminds me of Higurashi because a certain character, I won't say who, because maybe some of you guys have not seen it before. Certain character in there retains memories of this time loop mechanics, and that person has a very depressed outlook in life because they relive this sort of moment over and over and over and over and over again, and still not be able to find a way to end all this like pain and suffering because they just keep on dying and dying and dying and dying. They have to do it again, and you have to die again. Every time you will just die. You know you
So
will
dark.
die.
I love it.
Yeah, no matter what you do, you can't get out of it. It's kind of a time loop, like a temporal prison, if you will,
Mhm.
where you're executed all the time and just coming back with all your memories intact. So that's what this game is built on. And I thought
Yeah.
it just was fascinating. The art style looks interesting. Battle mechanics looks a lot like it's inspired by Mother and what's that a game now that you just mentioned? Shoot.
Death End Request.
No, it wasn't definitely request. It's the like in that games, like in that sort of like visual
Oh, Hat
style.
in Time.
No, shoot. What's the game that was like heavily inspired by Mother that people wanted you to play?
Oh, Undertale.
Undertale, yeah. So it's like I think it's in the same veins, like Mother, Undertale, Omori. Once you see the trailer, I think you'll understand what I'm saying.
Yeah. Now I'm having
Yeah.
that same issue with the inverted colors again. So I'm gonna have to play
No.
it on YouTube here
Okay.
instead of through our. Yeah, for some reason it just happens on on certain like external
That's so
sites.
strange.
It is so weird. Okay, here
Maybe it's the hardware acceleration thing.
I'll have to figure this
Yeah.
out.
Okay.
Yeah. By the way, I heard the music earlier today,
hmm
and I thought it was an ice cream truck from outside, and I got ridiculously excited. I was like, "What?" Because it sounded so faint and like it was coming from outside. I legit like ran outside. I didn't even have any cash. So yeah, learning from previous experiences, altering the paths. It's yeah. So it's like ReZero. If ReZero were a game, I thought for sure that it was, but it's not. So
No, well, ReZero has a game, but it came from light novels. Like that's the source work.
yeah,
If that makes sense. Yeah, they have a game. They have a game. Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. So that's the in Stars and Time. So that's the new game that will be coming at you 2023. So you bet we'll come back and revisit this once we hear more news about it. It's just very intriguing. It could be like a Nick's like big indies darling, or fade into obscurity. We'll see which way it goes.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. We won't forget about that. Yeah. That
Hopefully, they'll give another trailer that also sounds like ice cream trucks, and also get Derek super excited to just
I
run out.
know.
Ice cream.
Like my 10-year-old fat kid in me just is like, what? I'm like already scrounging the house for change because I hear this. I don't know why. It was actually, I know why, because I was playing through my speakers instead of my headphones like it normally does. And I'm like, and I heard a truck go by. I'm like, what? It was that diesel sounding engine. I was like, okay, time to. I even went out and I asked him, he's like, did you hear that? She's like, what? There's an ice cream truck. And she's like, what? Maybe they take debit.
Nowadays, they take Apple Pay.
Oh, man. Man, that's an industry that needs to come back, okay? Because
Yes.
there was nothing more that sparked more random pieces of joy than like just a hot summer day and then having the sudden opportunity to spend too much money on crappy ice cream. Like, it was just so novel. And it, like, I don't know. It's like you ever like, it's like Gandalf came to visit the hobbits back in the day. That's what it's like. Hey, it's everybody. It's Gandalf. Let's go get our change and maybe he'll set off some fireworks or something.
You know what? The ice cream will never look like,
No.
especially the character one.
The Ninja Turtle.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Ninja Turtle was the worst.
SpongeBob. Oh my God.
Yeah.
SpongeBob. So I think when I was a kid, I would avoid those on purpose because they never come out right, and I feel like I was getting scammed.
Yeah.
And then as I grew older, I would deliberately get them just to see what I get. So I just see myself growing with the ice cream truck, as I matured. I leaned into it.
I feel like the main problem with ice cream trucks is at this point, they failed to grow up with us. Now imagine instead of on a hot summer day, it comes through delivering or dispensing ice cream. Instead, on like a hot summer evening, maybe a hot weekend, that ice cream truck, instead of dispensing ice cream, comes through and like sells like mixed drinks or something like that. Oh, you want a margarita? Sure. I mean, sure, the logistics of that probably wouldn't work out with like, not being able to drive and like have open containers or something.
Right.
But, something like that. I guess I'm describing like an alcoholic food truck, but different.
They need to take Apple Pay. That's
yes,
they
for
want
sure.
they want to grow it with. You need to take what's that other one? I mean, I don't even have an Apple phone.
Okay, well let's
just
take
like saying Apple Pay.
Let's also take alcohol out of the equation. Like, okay, early morning, just a truck comes by dispensing lattes and stuff. That would be so dangerous. Just they drive it around like corporate parks and stuff.
Oh my
Office
God.
parks. Just like I don't even know what song they would play. Just it'd be fantastic though.
Some kind of fancy avant-garde jazz, of course, that you'll hear from Starbucks.
Yeah, sure. Something like that. I love it.
Sounds like Seattle.
You know what? It does. It does. That sounds. My God, that would kill. That would kill so much in Seattle.
I wonder how many of our viewers are from Seattle. It's like, hey.
I loved living in Seattle, and there was a lot of coffee, and it was a lot better than just Starbucks. Like Starbucks is like, people complain about Starbucks. It's not. It's the drip coffee sucks. That's a fact. Their lattes are like a thing that like, if you just are in the middle of nowhere, it's the thing that you're guaranteed to have access to. So if like you're on a business trip and you're just, barely rolling out of bed and you have one bloodshot eye and you're like, I just need some caffeine, you could go to Starbucks and survive the encounter. Like that's something that you can't get from just random shops. But most often at this point, like, especially in the middle of like the Midwest, in the middle of nowhere, and like, oh yeah, I'm going down to Oklahoma City or something like that, or one of the various small satellite towns that exists because of Oklahoma City. Like if you go there, and you're like, I need some coffee. Who has coffee? Well, you can go to like Joe's Cafe, and you'd get drip coffee. That'd probably be equally good. But if you're like an espresso person, I guess Starbucks would suffice. Anyways, we're going way off topic into other territories.
Well, apparently, this is what some people like.
I think you're probably right. You know what? Worst case scenario, you just bring your bribe. Just
Mhm.
yep.
Wow. I still haven't used the bribe.
You still haven't used your bribe.
I still have not used my bribe. It's just sitting there. It's like a.
I use it every opportunity that it comes up. Unfortunately, I don't have any hot water, or I would bribe right now.
Mm.
Yep, it's a fact. I've used it every opportunity, which is to say I've used it at least 10 times. Not to brag. Anybody who doesn't know what a bripe is, by the way, it's a coffee pipe.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a little brass pipe that you put coffee grounds in. You put in some water, you heat it up like a crack pipe, and then you suck your coffee through a filter. And it's actually pretty hipstery, but pretty tasty too.
I was like, if I had it with me, I would show it on stream right now. But I left that upstairs, and I'm not going upstairs. Maybe next time. I'll keep it and I'll show it off.
All right.
Alrighty.
Well, let's go ahead and move
So-
this along here because we'll talk about the headline. What I would say is the headline. Bokksu, I'll tell you a little bit about what's going on here.
Oh yeah, please.
So
Why eat this cookie?
sure. Oh man, I'm jealous now. Okay, fine. It's my turn to talk while you eat. Okay. So CD Projekt Red has announced basically through their website that essentially through the website they say a new saga is beginning. And they've shown just a single piece of art that shows Geralt's wolf pendant resting in the snow. And so basically it's indicating that a new saga is about to begin in the Witcher franchise. And the Witcher franchise is sort of an interesting beast to talk a little bit about. And this is coming from somebody who has not read the books, who has not played the games, but I have watched the Netflix series and it's actually really good. But the Netflix series is based on some of the books, as I understand. But anyways, so what this is kind of maybe implying here is, and what a lot of fans are now speculating about is, so this is the beginning of a new era, which means the end of a previous era, maybe. Geralt's pendant resting in the snow might be interpreted as, something was, his symbol of being a Witcher, resting in the snow, not attached to Geralt as it should be, Is Geralt being left behind? We don't know. I mean, that's why it's a question. Like, I'm very curious about the future of the Witcher series. And honestly, the Witcher Netflix series has sparked my interest in the series quite a bit, especially because I hear so many good things about The Witcher 3 in particular.
Yeah.
But there's also really good stuff to this announcement that I think other people will probably be very curious about. So in addition to announcing the beginning of a new era, oh, by the way, fans, for anybody who doesn't know, they're speculating that this is probably going to be an indication that Ciri is going to be picking up kind of as the new hero of the forthcoming saga. We'll find out. But one of the other things that it looks like CD Projekt Red is moving away from, aside from maybe just Geralt, they've stated that they're moving away from REDengine toward Unreal Engine 5 for this, and they, in their words, they are beginning a partnership with Epic Games that will be a years long. So Epic Games is the owner of the Unreal Engine, right? So I don't know if necessarily this means like a partnership with their Unreal Engine or their Epic Games store. I mean, there's a strong possibility of that. But yeah, they're going to be moving away from REDengine. And here's an interesting quote from the site here. They say, REDengine, the technology which powers Cyberpunk 2077, is still being used for the development of the upcoming Cyberpunk 2077 expansion. So, I mean, that's kind of a given. I feel like that's kind of like, well, duh.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to continue working on the same game, you're not going to like, there's not a way to...
He imagines like, oh yeah, well, we're gonna do all the expansion in Unreal Engine 5. How is it gonna work? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, maybe I don't know why they felt that. Well, here's why I felt they maybe felt the need to say that, because like I said, to us who are familiar with, I guess, programming to a degree, and then like what production of a program looks like. Um, the reason like we think that that's like a well duh is because basically the engine is what holds all of the pieces together essentially. So if you're going to continue working on a piece of
Libraries, everything. Yep.
yeah, if you're going to be yeah, if you are going to be working on something, then if you were to switch engines in the middle of everything, you basically be making the game over from scratch essentially.
Yeah.
So that's why it's like a well duh. But so why would they want to bring that up? And I feel like it's because in a way Cyberpunk 2077 has really shown the limits of what they could do on this previous engine. So I feel like they're bringing this up to say like, hey, everybody, we're moving away from the engine that was part of the reason Cyberpunk 2077 failed so bad. So that's the other reason why I feel like this is big news, regardless of whether you're big into The Witcher or not. Like if you were disappointed by Cyberpunk, then yeah, that bodes well for the future of The Witcher.
Interesting. Yeah, so I don't really know anything about the Witcher series other than just
Have you
watching
watched
the show.
Have you watched the show yet?
I have watched a couple of episodes and they were good.
Did you see the episode where he took a bath?
I don't remember because it was so long ago.
Okay, then you haven't
We
watched
it when it
enough.
first came out.
I'm pretty sure if you, as
So I
long
go
as you
back
watch the
and
part
watch
where
it.
if you watch the part where he's in the bubble bath, then I'm pretty sure that's all you really need to know total for the entire series. Geralt in the bath.
I did remember watching, I believe that was Siri escaping from the castle, and etc. Because Siri's supposed to be a princess, right? And
Yeah.
yeah, and something or another. So I do remember watching that.
Yeah.
And then but I think that was one of the last episodes I watched.
That was the first episode.
Was that the
Yeah.
first episode?
I'm pretty sure
I
that
thought
was
it
the
was
very
later
first.
on.
I think it was the
I
first. I think it was the end of like a very long episode. I think the first episode might have been like an hour long. I don't know. I can't recall.
I might have gotten them mixed up. I mean, I did remember watching the origin of a certain ugly duckling that became not ugly
Okay, yeah,
duckling.
you got further. Okay.
You know? So anyways, yeah,
Sure.
I don't want to give too much spoiler,
Yeah,
but yeah, I
spoilers,
can totally
Bokksu.
see Siri being sort of the new, because I do know, because I have a friend who's like really big into The Witcher, and he'll tell me little snippets every chance that he gets. He's one of those people who are just like super excited about certain things, have no one to talk to about. So he was just like, well, you like games, let's talk about Witchers. I was like, you like RPG, don't you? It's like, yes, but it's like, no, hear me out. So Siri, right? Oh, okay. So I do have some idea, and yeah, no, I can totally see her being sort of like the new protagonist, and it makes sense, or
Sure.
a new character coming. I welcome it anyways. I like strong female protagonists being in RPGs, and I think one that's not just like edgy. It's just like that's as if that's the only way you can portray a strong woman, is she has to be edgy. It's like, no, she does not. But maybe she can be kind of cool, right? And that's okay.
Maybe.
But with like a freaking personality. Thank you. Like, hopefully.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. But I welcome it either ways. If this is what the franchise needs to move on to a next generation, I'm not a person who likes to hold on to the past and just give me more of the same thing.
Yeah.
But do it well. Take your time, do it well. Please don't give us another 2077, because man, that hurts. That hurts them. I don't care. I wasn't playing it, like, but it hurts the fans.
Yeah, it
hurts
does.
their reputation. Just like, please don't do this again. And if moving to Unreal Engine 5 is the solution, and it's viable for your partnership, hey, go for
sure.
it. See what happens.
Yeah. My turn to eat while you talk.
Dreadful. I want more snacks. Alrighty, let's move on over to some industry news. This little piece of news been going rounds last week, and I think everyone has heard about it. I don't know if Derek has seen this. Actually, Derek, if you want to pass on over to my screen in a second. Okay. Yep, there you go. So, Microsoft announced Sonic 2 Xbox Series S custom console and controller sweepstake with literally furry Sonic and Knuckle controllers. Those are real furry controllers. Those are real.
I saw
Those
these.
are real.
These look ridiculous, man. They look so. Okay, just imagine first Cheeto dust. Just imagine Dorito dust. Like this is a controller that you're gonna need to vacuum. This is a controller that it's gonna slip out of your hands. Okay, hold on. So just on the face of it, they look neat. They look like aesthetically. Take out any concept in your head of like usability, just from a visual perspective. That looks neat. The controllers do. The Xbox doesn't, though. I think the Xbox is kind of ugly, actually.
Yeah, the Xbox just. I do like the ring though. The ring looks really cool.
If it was an actual like embossed like ring of gold, but it looks like it's just a decal.
Oh, you know what? You're right. If it was like actual like metallic kind of like painted, that would be pretty cool. But the Sonic versus Knuckle, it just looks like they just took something, just like spray paint, just slapped it on. There's no thoughts involved in that.
You ever seen those like hashtag gamer girls like licking a controller as like, just imagine. Like, I don't know why, but like that's the first thing that went to my mind with this is like, you're gonna get hairballs.
If you have like a cat at home and the cat just starts like licking the controller.
Oh my god.
Oh god, yeah. And forget Cheeto dust. Like even if you don't snack in game, right?
Even just sweaty palms.
Yes, they're
gonna get matted.
Grime.
It's gonna those controllers are gonna turn into dreads. They're just gonna like get like little just from the hand grease. It's gonna look bad. It's gonna be bad. It's going to be so bad. Like I don't think anybody wants this.
So my guess, honestly, what these things are, they probably made some kind of like a glove thing that you can
that has to come off. It has to come off.
And then you can just take it off. It's just a blue and red controller, but I think it's a brilliant idea as far as like a what is it called, a marketing thing is concerned.
Yeah.
This is brilliant
because we're finally talking about it.
Exactly.
Because we just can't, like, why?
Why would you do this?
There's, yeah, it's exactly what you think, and that's where I went as well. But
yeah,
if the ring was embossed and actually like gold colored and shiny, that would be cool. The GIF that they printed on the thing below it, I don't love it.
Yeah, kind of.
The execution as of right now, very bland. The controllers are the most unique thing about it, and they look extremely unpleasant. And the whole thing, it just looks tacky. I mean, kind of neat from a visual perspective, the controllers, but
I respect the meme.
Yeah.
I just, that's all it is. I just respect the meme. So let me talk a little bit more about how people can enter. Yeah.
Okay. Because speaking of memes. Okay. Yeah. Speaking of memes, imagine if this itself was a meme, and they're like, oh, actually, here's what the real controllers look like after the fan backlash, and it actually looks like good. Like that'd be the joke. It's like, this is the fake. This is the fake out. This is the weird jank Sonic that they did for the first Sonic movie. And then the fans are gonna be like, that doesn't look good. And they're like, oh, we reworked it. So it actually looks like this now. And
we fixed it.
That's probably not That's probably
Yeah,
not it,
that's
though.
not gonna happen. This is a sweepstake, guys. This is free. They don't care.
Yeah.
So check this out, right? So people, there are two ways to enter. You can either retweet this or use some Microsoft reward points to get a chance to win the grand prize. For Twitter, all you have to do is retweet the official tweet, which will include in the description if you want to try your hands at it. And also, you need to follow the official Xbox Twitter account until at least after a week after the contest entry phases end. So you can't just like, follow and then unfollow. That's not how it works. You gotta follow and you gotta stick around for at least a week according to their guideline. But boy, like imagine a person who won and just like unfollowed you right afterwards.
I
That's messed
mean,
up.
not gonna lie, if I got that, I'd take it and I'd unfollow because I legit don't. Why would you? Why would you not?
You could be an Xbox fan. I don't know.
I mean, I'm
Now,
a Nintendo fan, but I don't follow them on Twitter. I'm a.
that is true. That
I
is
mean, I do
true.
follow Square Enix on Twitter. I follow Atlas on Twitter, but like a console manufacturer.
Well, Nintendo's a little different because Nintendo is a console manufacturer, but
Yeah,
also
I don't follow
a
Sony.
lot of first party games.
I don't
Yeah,
follow Sony. Yeah.
that's true. That's true. Um, Now for folks who also, well, this is only for people in US, I think. You can use 200 Microsoft reward points to enter. And only one person, one lucky winner will get these fuzzy controllers. So I was gonna say I shared this photo with my friend group, and
Yeah.
one of our friend, um, they're like a couple. They live together, and one of them was like, "Well, we do have a cat, and we're constantly getting all this cat fur, so I'm just gonna hot glue this onto his Xbox controller." So if she actually pulls through and takes all those cat fur and
Mhm.
actually glues it, because April Fools is coming.
My God.
I,
I mean,
I
as long
will
as you get a
share that
controller, like
picture.
just get a glove on the controller first, right? And then do it. That'd be
Mhm.
pretty funny. You know what
You
these
know
remind me
what?
of? These controllers remind me of like, have you ever do you have like a grandmother or a great
Mhm.
grandmother who has like a fake animatronic cat? Because I do.
No,
My
what?
my grandmother had a fake animatronic cat. It was one of those things that was like furry and fuzzy, and you could turn it on and it'd go and it'd like purr, like really weird, and it would wag a tail
No.
and blink its eyes. But if you go to and it looked kind of rough. But if you actually touched it,
Mhm.
but oh, that's
Oh,
because like
actually kind of soft.
I mean it's soft, but then like
Mhm.
the texture below it is hard, so it feels like you're touching like a you know
Uh,
a rigor mortis creature.
oh God.
So so what that looks like is like this is what it's gonna be like to pet a dead Sonic and to pet a dead Knuckles right in the palm and comfort of your hands.
Everything that a fan wants, am I right? There,
Yeah.
Sonic. Yes. Yes, Sonic. Yes, Knuckle.
Like a little yep. Just you know what is that when you stuff a dead animal? What's that called? Taxidermy? Yes, it's a taxidermy
Taxidermy.
controller. So bad. It looks so uncomfortable.
Oh boy, this is nightmare fuel. This is the god. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
moving on.
let's
Yeah,
move
yeah.
on. Okay, so the next one is definitely something that's very special to me, and I hope that it will be something that you guys will also come to love, and that is the Final Fantasy Distant Worlds concert dates are announced. Derek, have you heard of the Distant World concert series before?
Mm-mm.
So the Distant Worlds music from Final Fantasy is a concert. It's a long running series concert. Oh boy, it's been running for at least a decade and some more now. And it just primarily features music from Nobuo Uematsu, who obviously has been the primary composer of the Final Fantasy series, but also some of the newer entries as well, like Final Fantasy
Oh.
13, where Uematsu was not the main composer anymore.
Mhm.
So some of my like favorite tunes from the Final Fantasy series, beautifully remade with a professional orchestra, and also opera in singers in certain cases. One time, I believe it was in Newark, New Jersey, where they invited the singer of the Final Fantasy X theme song, Steki Dane, and she performed live for the first time in America in that
Wow.
concert series. It was incredible. Her showmanship, her voice, like it just I was close to just being in full-blown tears. Like it was amazing. So if you guys get a chance once in your life to visit a Final Fantasy Distant Worlds concert and you're a fan of the Final Fantasy music, absolutely, absolutely go. I know that it sounds kind of like stiffy because like, oh, it's an orchestra concert. People go there in cosplays. So it's like, no, it's just fine. You can wear like, jeans. It's okay. You don't have to
Mhm.
dress up. Don't worry. It's not a black tie event. I remember the first time we went, we got people dressed up as like white mage, black mage, and it's super cool. It is such a huge fan experience. So let me read some more from there. So this time is called Final Fantasy 35th Anniversary Distant Worlds Music from Final Fantasy Chorale. There will be a total of 20 concerts held around the globe.
Wow.
So definitely check to see if you will be able to attend one that is near you. Let me read off a couple of dates and locations for, and I'm only gonna read things that are in like the Western world because that's like our main audience. But
Mhm.
definitely, we'll leave a link in down below with like the full list. So here it goes. Okay, the tour will begin in August 6th of this year. And the first, sort of like the more like Western part of the world that will get to experience this concert series is Chicago, Illinois, in September 10th, Los Angeles in September 24th, London in October 1st and 2nd. Then they're going back to the U.S. In Fort Worth, Texas, in November 12th, Boston, Massachusetts, November 19th, New York, January 7th and 8th, 2023, Nashville, Tennessee, January 25th, Barcelona, Spain, February 3rd, Paris, France, February 25th, Amsterdam, the Netherlands, March 3rd, and then back to the US, Orlando, Florida, March 10th and 11th. And that would be the end of the series. So if you live anywhere near these locations, definitely swing by. I'll be attending the next, probably the New York one myself.
Wow.
Yeah, I will absolutely will not miss this. Love this concert series. Yeah, so again, we'll be leaving a link down below. And if you are going to the New York one, let me know, man. I would love to just hang out.
It occurred to me that this is actually starting to ring some bells. I think I have actually heard of this. Um,
Mhm.
and I think that there was a person who was like doing a lot of promoting of this over the years, and I can't remember his name anymore, but it was like, I think I I've lost it, but I remember hearing a lot about it and just being really over the moon and hoping that I could go to one of these at some point. Um,
Oh, well,
so I mean,
it's
I
coming to you.
Fort Worth, Texas, maybe November 12th.
Sorry,
That's
I didn't want to interrupt you, but I just saw in chat that says nothing near Pittsburgh. I made a mistake. There is one in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania,
oh,
September 20th, 2022 There you go, Epic Joe. I caught your message right there in the corner of my eye. Someone said,
Oh,
"Oh, nothing near Pittsburgh." Actually, there's one in Pittsburgh. You're
wow.
welcome, sir. Yeah.
Interesting.
Eagle eye. I saw that in the corner of my eye. It's like, oh nope, I got you.
I wonder. I mean, I got folks in Pennsylvania. Maybe I could make it up for that one.
Yeah, so that was the only date that I missed. So if you're about to say, oh, but what about this? Okay, listen, I can't just like magically make these dates up. It just so happens I missed that. Okay. So, anyways, yeah, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
September 20th, 2022.
Yeah, check the official site for the details and
Yes.
yeah,
For the full
especially
date.
especially
Yeah.
before buying any tickets.
Well, speaking of buying tickets, the price will be reviewed in a later date.
$1,000 each.
Once that comes out, I will definitely talk about it. They do range quite a bit depending on the venue. So yeah, some places gonna be cheaper than others. But it does go up to hundreds of dollars, especially if you get it late and you get like one of the best seats in the house. It's gonna cost you. But some of the standing spaces, you're looking at maybe like $60 to $80 a person.
Usually,
Uh,
typically.
cheaper if you can get it like on day one sometimes.
Okay.
So definitely we'll let you guys know as soon as I hear more about the ticketing
Are
and
they
when
are
they're
they going on
available.
sale via Ticketmaster or? I guess we don't know
They
yet.
haven't said. Yeah, they haven't said. And again, sometimes it depends on the venue. So yeah.
I've heard that recently scalping
Mhm.
has been a huge issue
Yeah.
with ticket scalping and stuff. So hopefully, I mean, this is why we can't have nice things, but hopefully anybody who needs them or who wants them can get them firsthand and not scalped to hell and back and can afford to
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wish you guys all the best of luck. If you're truly interested in it, I'm gonna do everything I can to try to, make sure that you guys get those tickets like, before the scalpers get to them, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty. So the next piece of news is very interesting, and for some reason I didn't get a whole lot of different sources talking about it, which is very strange. But if you want to share my screen,
Wait.
yes. The next piece of news is about Legend of Mana, the Teardrop Crystal.
Yeah.
It is a new TV animation that was reviewed in Anime Japan 2022, which just recently happened in this past weekend.
Yeah.
And it's like huge anime convention in Japan. This anime is going to be due out sometime in 2022 from Warner Brothers Japan.
Mhm.
Not a whole lot is known. Like literally the only thing is just this website
this
that you're looking
picture.
at right now. Just this picture, yeah, and this website. So you can kind of see the art style that they're going for is going to be a little different from the game, obviously, but they're keeping most of the the watercolor
Mhm.
and the key art. So it looks pretty promising. But it's just interesting that there's a lot of well, first of all, Square Enix is moving towards the animation space, which is very interesting because I don't know if you've heard about this, but Final Fantasy 9 is being made into some kind of a kid animation. I don't know
What?
why FF9. Yeah, I know.
Okay.
This is like a couple months ago.
Huh.
Yeah, obviously before HitPoint, otherwise you
Yeah.
guys would have heard from here.
It's true.
Yeah, but yeah, so FF9, and then obviously Nier Automata, we covered it. Nier Automata is being made into a TV animation, and now this
Yeah.
Legend of Mana will be made into a TV animation. Again,
It's wild that
and
Warner Bros. Japan is involved. I've not heard
yeah,
that name come up too often in
hmm
regards to anime.
yeah.
Have you heard of
So
much of their stuff before?
no, not that I can think of. Usually they are like publishers. They're not like the developers. Like
Yeah.
the yeah, yeah, if that makes sense. So like they would do all the funding and all the marketing and release stuff, but not so much like the studio that makes uh the animation, from my
Yeah.
understanding, anyways. But it's not a name that I hear very often in the anime space. So very curious to see what kind of things they'll do. But yeah,
Why
just
is
more.
more animation? Why is Square Enix suddenly paying more attention to some of their other IPs? Like the Seiken Densetsu series. Like there was for the longest time nothing. And then all of a sudden there's the Secret of Mana remake. Trials of Mana comes west for the first time ever. Secret of, or not the Secret of Mana, but the Mana collection. Then the Mana remake. And now this. Like,
Well,
just out of nowhere. It's crazy.
twofold.
I love it. I'm happy.
Yeah.
Chrono Cross. The longest time Square forgot that Chrono exists. Now Chrono Cross suddenly getting a remake or a remaster rather with the Radical Dreamers. Valkyria. When was the last time? Valkyria didn't have anything since PSP, right?
No, Valkyrie Profile. Valkyria is the Sega one.
yeah. Valkyrie Profile. Or not Profile, but Valkyrie
Valkyrie series.
Elysium. Yeah. Series.
Elysium, yeah, that's the new one. Yeah.
Since PSP. So it's like they're reviving their dormant franchises, and God, that's got me so stoked.
Square Enix like wake up, it's time to make money.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
The time has come.
The time has come.
Somebody got a hold of the company purse strings, and they're like, after 10,000 years, I'm free. It's time to conquer the JRPG Earth.
Do you remember Power Ranger? Like the original Mighty Morphin Power Ranger?
Yes.
You know how they like went to the moon and like they released like what's
Rita,
her name? Like
Rita Repulsa.
Like,
that was my impression of her, by the way.
Oh, see, there you go. That's what I was like. That's why it sounded familiar.
Yes. Like I got the guitar going in the background already. God, that song was so much more hype than it had any right to be. That Power Rangers song, like just the God. If you ever listen to like the Power Rangers, if you ever watched it as a kid and you're like, I know which one he's talking about. If you go back and listen to it right now, it is so much better than you remember. It's so over the top. It's so extra.
Like, wow. This is actually really good.
I know. I would still listen to that. I would still listen to it. I should put the Power Rangers theme song in my rotation.
Yes, you should. But okay, yeah, no, I think it's we've talked about it. It's a couple of factors, right? Like Square Enix now noticing that millennials got money, right?
Yeah,
so they're releasing games from our childhood now. It's our time. It's our time now. Move along, Gen Xer. So that's one. Well, actually, Gen Xers were there too to playing these same games, so it kind of makes sense. Like you're hitting both the generation, right?
That's right.
Yeah, so you've got us, holding most of the wealth now, so it only makes sense to release games.
Well, maybe not
and
most, but go ahead.
Well, I think maybe not millennials only, but between Gen X and millennials, probably, probably.
How many billionaires do you know between the ages of?
Well, that's the
45
thing. How
us?
many billionaires would be buying these games?
That's a good point. The billionaires would be funding these games instead.
I guess what I'm trying to say is of the population that would consume these media, the ones that holds most of the wealth would be Gen Xer and millennials. So it only makes sense to target them. All right,
that's true.
So
that is true.
One.
Okay.
Decentralizing their investment into Final Fantasy and just investing into multiple smaller games.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 14 giving them a cash cow basically to fall back on so that they can take more risk.
Putting more eggs in more baskets so that if something falls out
it makes perfect sense to do that investment strategy. That's like finance 101 is don't bet everything into a single thing. Diversified and spread out your risk pool. Like
I'm just so not used.
Makes sense.
Ever since Final Fantasy like Spirits Within, I don't think Square Enix or Squaresoft rather. I guess Squaresoft made that mistake once and then they got bought and then they got bought by Enix, and then they continued to make the same mistakes over and over. We have to make this one the big hit. Time after time after time, failing after failing after failing. Just
what are we doing wrong? Is it the graphics? Is it the graphics? Send them a survey.
Please, everybody, take this survey to tell us which graphics need improved.
I'm never gonna let that. I'm never gonna let them live.
Oh my God.
I'm not gonna let them live.
It's so egregious. I love it.
Yes. But I think most important of all, the final thing that's really, you're asking why all of a sudden they're making these animes. I'll tell you why. I think the last piece of the puzzle is the commercialization of animation.
Yeah.
Because for the longest time, and I don't know if people know this, for the longest time, you think that TV anime is a product. It is not.
Yep.
TV anime is for the longest time a byproduct of toys and books, like physical item sales. So the anime is just like what's the word?
Advertisement.
Like, advertisement, yeah, like
Yep.
like yeah, it's just advertisement. And so they don't really care too much about the quality or what have you. Obviously, animation has gone a long way. Japanese anime has gone a long way. But ever since that, we've got these streaming services and on-demand viewings. All of a sudden, now they're profitable in their own right.
Yeah, I was about to say that I feel like the big change has actually come from Netflix, especially Netflix,
Yes.
making their originals, because they're not trying to sell you. I mean, they might sell you some extra stuff on the
still
side,
do it, yeah.
but I feel like
they could still do it.
But I feel like right now they're not trying to sell commercial time. They're not trying to get you to buy the manga most of the time. Instead, you've bought the product. They're not trying to sell, like, you are no longer the product at this point. Because when you're paying for the service, when you're not paying for a service, basically, people are using you as the product. They are selling you to their advertisers, or essentially. But if you're paying for the subscription service to watch the Netflix original, then what they want you to do is to pay them for the subscription service, right? So you are the customer. That's shifted the dynamic. They are now producing art for you to buy, essentially, or to lease, I guess.
Yeah, well, to appreciate when you can.
Yeah, it's an interesting shift in dynamic, I think, that doesn't get the praise that it, I think, actually deserves. Yeah.
So things like Crunchyroll, that's why I support Crunchyroll, because we're getting animes, we're getting simulcasts. It's just, there's all kinds of things is coming from these streaming services now. Everybody hope is that it doesn't turn into a cable situation now, where you have to basically get like 10 different subscription services to cover the whole range of things. But at the same time, competition is healthy, so there's got to be some kind of balance to it. But
well,
yeah,
I mean,
but
then again,
regarding,
I mean, the tricky thing becomes, the tricky thing is that there's consolidation occurring within Crunchyroll and Funimation now.
Yeah.
Right. So I guess as long as they just want your subscription, but at the minute they try to start putting ads into your subscription based stuff, cancel it, because you are no longer the customer.
Hulu.
Yeah. Hulu.
Hulu.
I think it's safe to say Hulu, because if you're going to make me pay and then show me ads, you are just cable. You are just the cable company again. That's what I'm paying to get away from. Yeah. And I refuse to accept the normalization of that. And you should
absolutely.
too. If you have Hulu or any other subscription service that you're paying for and they show you ads, no, don't do it.
I think they're throwing ads in the free account now, I think.
Oh yeah, but, if it's free, then if it's free, then you can elect
fair
to be
game.
Yeah. It's got to be supported
fair
somehow.
Game.
It's got to be supported somehow.
So that's so hopefully that that sort of answers why these things are becoming animes. Like, why all of a sudden? Well, here's why. There's the reason for that, and I welcome it. This is not me being cynical about it. It's like, yeah, well, that's just what it is, and I welcome it. It looks beautiful.
Mhm.
So I'm looking forward to see more about it. And of course, if there are more news that comes with this anime, we'll be covering it for sure. So yeah, let's move on to the next piece of things. Let's talk a little bit about Chrono Cross, sir. What you
Oh,
got for us?
all right. Well, Chrono Cross, guys. Okay, we got some good news for people of a certain persuasion who, in fact, maybe like listening to some analog music, some not so digital. Well, I mean, it's probably digitally recorded, so it's honestly, it's probably doesn't make a huge difference. But Chrono Cross Remaster, the Radical Dreamers edition, is getting a vinyl soundtrack.
Oh my god,
Oh yeah.
that's right up your alley.
Yeah, that is my jam. 7 new tracks that have been newly arranged of the original songs, plus 1 extra brand new song are being included in this pressing. So it's going to be released in Japan on June 22nd of 2022. Currently, it's not really sure if there's going to be a North American or European release, but it's looked like it's going to be available in those regions in respective stores that have been linked to the official promotional page. So if you check out the promotional page, there's links to various places that maybe it'll be available at. So
Yeah, should be. Yeah. You know, when I added this to the docket, I was thinking about you the entire time. I'm like, well, Derek
I
would
am
care about
I am
this.
so buying it. I don't care. I don't care. I am buying it. It's mine. It's if it unless they go and make it like a $400 release. And they could easily, with the amount of music in Chrono Cross, they could easily make this like a 4 or 5 disc pressing compilation album, if you will. And it could get really expensive. And I would still really want it though. I would still really want it. Anyways, yeah, the promo page is going to be linked down below. And also, of those 7 plus 1 original arrangements, you can now listen to about 30-second clips of them each, following a link in the video's description as well on Square Enix's Facebook, or not Facebook page, YouTube channel, Facebook page. Yeah, check it out. Because
Facebook page.
I know. I'm like,
Your
who's on
boomer
Facebook?
is showing there, sir.
I know.
Facebook.
I think it's because Facebook was mentioned somewhere on the doc up, and I don't know. Maybe I may just be getting senile. But anyways, check it out because some of them sound really good. I don't know what else is going to be included if it's just those 7 or 8 tracks. I mean, I guess 8 tracks is enough for one side of an album, generally speaking. So there's possibility that there's going to be other stuff included on the other side. So yeah, check that out in the link down below.
Yeah, you know what I'm really hoping for is if Square Enix is willing to do this, they've got so much music that they can take what they've learned from the Distant World series and turn some other IP into maybe a smaller scale concert series. I think that they can make a lot of people very happy. And sort of like revitalize this sort of like concert going sort of culture. Like I think they have the power to really change like how that works. Because for the longest time, you think about going to a concert, it's like a black tie event, you listening to like Mozart or something, right? But
Yes.
but this could be something completely new. Like imagine like a concert series of just Seiken dances, like just the Mana series. The Mana series got amazing music.
Yeah.
Amazing. Some of the best music I've ever heard came from the Mana series.
Yeah. Was it Kenji?
Ito.
Kenji Ito was the okay. I was trying to remember who
Yeah.
the composer was, and okay, cool.
So and in particularly, you know, Charles Mana soundtrack is wow,
Yeah.
incredible.
Heck, even
Um,
Sword of Mana was really good.
yeah. Right. So, yeah, I am kind of hoping, and you know what, it wouldn't be too big of a lift either in terms of the composition side, because a lot of these music actually ends up being rewritten for an orchestra anyways for the new remix.
Yeah.
So it's not like they don't have the scores. They have that. They have all the logistics. They know how to do this. They just need to kind of put it together.
Hmm.
They have all the pieces. So they wouldn't be reinventing the wheel either, right? Because the people, it's like selling sushi for the first time in the West, right? Once you get people buying into the idea, the second restaurant that opens, you don't need to like explain to people what this thing is anymore,
I
right?
mean, you
They
might have
get
to do
it.
that for like the
Yeah.
first 10 restaurants, but
Yeah.
I get what you're saying though.
But that's the whole point. Yeah. And the Distant World series, well, that's been around for like 10 years, like I said. So it's not like they just started doing this. It's been around for a decade. A lot of people have gone to these sort of game music
Hmm.
concert already. I think it's high time that Square Enix open more of these series and just get those music out. It could be like a compilation like Square Enix, like, you know, however many year anniversary music,
Oh
like,
yeah.
and they can include things like Live Alive, they can include things like Chrono, you know, Valkyrie series, Mana series, and just get like 1 2 big hits in there and just turn it into a
Did
music series. I would
did you
go.
ever
I would go.
did you ever listen to the Brink of Time soundtrack yet of Chrono Trigger?
Yes.
Isn't that so good?
Yes.
I would love
Oof.
to see a concert of that. Oh,
Yeah. Oh my God. If they did a Chrono series, can you guys imagine just doing a Chrono series concert?
oh my gosh. But the
Oh my
Brink of
God.
Time, like
Yeah.
the acid jazz renditions from the Brink of Time specifically, like
Yeah.
you can hear like the in-game music anywhere. Like
Hmm.
regular concert renditions of it, whatever. But to see like a jazz concert of it would
Hmm.
be so rad. Oh,
Well, one of my favorite actually, and you guys can download it too, is from OC Remix. And I've talked about this some
oh
other
yeah,
times,
yeah,
but
yeah.
OC Remix, yeah, OC Remix
Materia?
did a
Oh wait,
jazz
no.
album
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay.
of Chrono Trigger.
You're right. Mhm.
And when you listen to it, it just sounds like a jazz album. And it takes like a second sometimes for you to click with which song it is. And there are only 8 songs, so you can listen to it. And the fun thing is, you can kind of sit there and guess like which song was it from. Some of them, it's gonna take you a good minute before you can figure it out. It
I
sounds
know.
so different, right? Because they use jazz instrument only to replicate, you know, certain synthesizer sounds that it doesn't register immediately. But as soon as the tune starts playing, oh yeah, oh, that's what that was. It's a lot of fun. I highly recommend checking that out. And it's free. Did I mention it's free?
Oh
You can
yeah,
go
OC
and
Remix.
download it
All of their
right
stuff
now.
is free, right?
Yeah.
They also
Yeah.
do a really good one of well, it's not a jazz album of Terranigma, but they
Hmm.
do one for Terranigma too.
Hmm. Yeah, just wow. Lots of incredible royalty-free music. OC Remix. So and I had accidentally pushed Derek to skip ahead.
Yep.
So I gotta
I was gonna say
backtrack some stuff.
it's your turn to skip ahead.
Yes. But before we do that, I just want to clarify a point, and that is the Japanese release for the vinyl records
Yeah.
for Chrono Cross is June 22nd. There is no set date for North America and EU, but they have linked the NA and EU store in the promotional page. So we could
Okay.
only assume that they will also sell it. They just hadn't set the dates yet. So
Okay.
it's like 90%, we're 90% sure it's going to be available for North America and EU. We just don't have a date yet, but we'll keep you posted.
Thank you for that clarification because I was confused.
Yeah,
Even I was
yeah, not a
confused.
problem.
It's like, yeah.
Not a problem.
Okay.
I figured. I'm like, well, you know what? You really care about this, so let me just make it clear for you at least. Okay, yeah. So again, I apologize. I skipped ahead in the docket. I saw Derek's cursor, and I'm like, oh, that's where we are. Okay. Damn it, Derek. So let's backtrack a little bit. Let's talk about anime again. Let's talk about game and anime again. Tatsunoko Productions shared a new key visual for the Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel Northern War anime. We have previously covered this. This TV anime will cover the events of the Northern War in the perspective of a new heroine named Lavi. So there's not a whole lot of information, but can I switch over to my screen for just a quick sec?
You bet.
Yeah, so this is the new key visual here. The anime is set to release in 2023, so you've got some way out before we can see what this anime will look like. But at least you can, and I just know all these trail fans are just like any little bits of information to just like.
You know, I would be
love it.
lying. I would be lying if I didn't say that I was in a private group message where this was actually already shared around a little bit and talked about. So
Yeah, no, absolutely.
People, you could say that this particular piece of art has some people salivating.
That's the thing I love about Trails fans though. It's just like I can throw them like the smallest tidbit of like it's like piranhas like in a pool. You just throw like breadcrumb in there. It's just like whoa, okay, I'm not stepping foot in there. I am not stepping foot in there. But yes, though this was announced in Anime Japan 2022, again the same convention that had announced the Legend of Mana anime, right? And again, this is going to be in 23. So look out for more information as it becomes available. We'll definitely keep you guys posted. The piranhas. Yeah, absolutely. Oh boy, I remember when Kuro no Kiseki. Oh, it's the Kuro no
Oh,
Kiseki.
yeah.
It's yeah. When
First piece of
piece
art.
information first came out, I was like, oh my god, the piranha pool is just like
You're not wrong.
devouring every bit of information.
And we mean that in the nicest way possible.
Yes, in the nicest way possible.
I mean,
from an outside looking in.
as a member of the piranha pool, this is the nicest piranha pool I've ever been a part of.
Yes. Yeah, so a friend of ours, February Night 4, he was doing sort of like a magazine reading, like and I was just there translating for him. I had absolutely no idea what I was reading because I had not played a single Trails game at that moment. So they're just like, wait, can you translate this? Can you translate that one? I was like, yeah, sure. Here, this is what it said. They're like, oh. Did you hear that, guys? This is happening. And I'm like, I have no idea what I just read, but here you go. Who are these people? What are these countries? Like, yeah. But anyways, I love you guys. But this is pretty awesome. So I'm definitely very excited to see more game works being turned to animation. It's a nice trend if they don't cheap out on the animation. If they do this like, oh, it's just whatever. This is a company anime. We don't care about quality. Then they're going down the wrong path. They need to treat this like this is an end product that people are paying for.
I have to assume that Falcom fans know the rabidity of their fans and know that it is in fact a pool of piranhas who will eat them alive should things not go well.
Yeah,
I'm sure Falcom is well aware of that fact.
Falcom's like, man, it's this is not safe. This is not safe. But yeah, I mean, all the best of luck to Falcom. Like, just
for sure, that's a tightrope to walk.
But
as long definitely a tightrope. As long as they don't skimp out and cheap out on it, yeah, it should be fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, heck, Trails fans have made do with the OVAs of Trails in the Sky. Have you seen them? Have you seen the OVAs yet?
I have not.
Well, I will say that
any good? Are they?
Falcom fans have learned to deal with some hit and miss animation quality. So, I mean, they've been making do. Let's just say that they've been making do for a while, and they could do with a win. It can take a W. I'd be
Yeah,
happy. For that.
I'm hoping that this turns out well. I mean, it looks pretty good so far, but we'll see as more, as more things become available.
Mhm.
All right. Talking about merch now.
Not ours.
So
Not yet.
no, not ours, but so we've talked about the Atelier series, right, Derek? We've talked about. Do you remember
Only a time or two. Only
the
like
Atelier series?
one
No,
to
only a
two
time
to
or two.
three, maybe 4 times total.
Maybe a handful.
Yeah.
Well, Sophie 2 recently was released, and that was that was the last time we talked about the Atelier series. But did you guys know that the Atelier series has been around for 25 years
I did
already?
not know that. I had no
That's
idea.
crazy. Yeah, no, it's been around since I think the PlayStation 1 era. So
They're
this
a pretty
series
big
has been
deal.
around.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, absolutely. They're a long-running series and they release new games all the time. See, the Atelier series typically revolve around, well, an alchemist that you would play as. Some RPG, a lot of material gathering, some quests requiring you to create items. That's sort of typically how it goes with all the games that's been released so far. And for their 25th anniversary, merchandise is now actually available for pre-order at AmiAmi. And some of the goods include a 25th anniversary cedarwood barrel mug. And for anyone who's ever played LTLE games, you know why it's a barrel. They also got some framed art pieces and acrylic stands and a lot more. So we'll be listing the link down below for your viewing pleasure so that you can see all the items available. If you're an LTLA fans, you're not going to want to miss this one. I am actually looking at a couple items myself. I got some shipments from AmiAmi. So
Are they figures?
now, yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. But hey,
Figures.
listen. But is that the witty joke? Is that the
We've
witty
done it.
joke?
We've
Okay,
done it.
check mark. Done. We did not fail when there. When, if you're listening to us right now, we did this for you. Yeah. So if anyone is curious about how AmiAmi works, basically, they are a company in Japan. They specialize in pre-orders and shipping it out to the rest of the world. So a lot of things that may be Japan exclusive, you can get them through AmiAmi. And so figures in particular are things that typically you have to pre-order a couple months to a year, maybe a little bit more in advance. You don't pay until it is ready to ship, and when it is ready to ship, they'll ask you for payment. So that's how AmiAmi works. If anybody has any questions, right? Well, first of all, is AmiAmi safe? Yes, I paid them hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars for goods. They are super good about packaging. Don't even worry about them. They've been around in the business for a long time, so they're absolutely trustworthy. But if anyone has questions about how to order stuff, what is it like, leave in the comments. I'll try to answer them for you. Especially when we cover some of these figures that's coming from like Falcom. Right? We just talked about Falcom. Well, Falcom are making figures of their characters. Guess where you can get them? AmiAmi.
Is
So
it just a
also
figures site, or is it like other stuff too?
no, figures, apparels, just random stationary things, acrylic stands, any kind of memorabilia. It's all there. It's all there. It's probably one of the largest, like, I would say, like, weeb goods store that you can ever go to.
Okay, so people who
Yeah.
who like our show would probably like the stuff they sell. Gotcha.
Absolutely. Hashtag not sponsor. Hashtag not yet sponsor. AmiAmi,
Could be
if you're
sponsored,
watching.
yeah.
Could hashtag could be sponsored. Uh, wink, wink, AmiAmi.
Say no more.
But yeah, But again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to list them in the comments, and I am happy to assist.
Awesome. Thanks for the heads up on that. I'm gonna need to check them out. I've used other like services through Japan to like order things through like Yahoo auctions and stuff, for instance.
Yeah, Yahoo
like
auction is big. Yeah.
like I mean I've used like Tenso, for instance, as a way to like have stuff bought through auctions, then repackaged and then like sold out, but shipped out
Yeah.
from them. But this is a new one for me, so I have to check them out.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, you know what? We got a fun little bit of community news to talk about. Actually, a few little projects. And here's one that I found. It's not too new, but I found it
Mhm.
pretty recently, and I sent it to Bokksu, and I was like, we need to talk about this. It came out in
Yeah.
February,
Mhm.
and it is a demake. It's not the demake of Bloodborne though. And
Mhm.
instead of ruining it by trying to describe it here, I want to I just want to show the trailer real quick.
Let's take a look at it. Yeah.
Yeah. Roll that beautiful footage. The colors are inverted because everything is broken. But now with worse graphics.
It's all messed up. It's all messed up.
It's yep.
Oh God. Oh God.
Shoot.
Oh God. Oh God.
I have no idea. I need to figure out why it's doing all of the inverted colors. That's so weird. But yes, Persona 4 got a demake for the Game Boy, and it sort of did, sort of not.
Yeah.
So it's not actually a full-fledged full game demake. It's more of like what you might call a demo of what it would be like to play a Game Boy demake. It does not run on a Game Boy. It is a PC game. But it is playable to a degree, and we'll have links to that in the description below as well. So
Yeah.
Sean SS, the developer behind the Game Boy demake, said that the demo only lets you play the very beginning of Persona 4 and is about 5 to 15-ish minutes of playtime. He says that this isn't a full game of Persona 4 on Game Boy. It is only a demo of what it might have been if it were released, on an earlier Game Boy instead of PlayStation 2.
Yeah, I think it's super awesome. Like that chiptune sort of like persona.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That really did it. That sounded perfect.
It
right?
really was perfect. The Game Boy itself had such a powerful sound chip compared to like the NES. It legitimately, like, if you ever think about it, the Game Boy had stereo audio, whereas the NES, like, technically you can make it have stereo, but not really. And it just has better music. I mean, the NES has its own distinctive sound, but yeah, despite its diminutive size, the sound chip just it sounds better. It's just a
Yeah.
slightly better,
That's
improved
actually
chip.
really crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But man, that looks so good when you send it to me. I send it to one of our friend, Mr. Invaz, sent it to him immediately. I was like, "Hey, I think you're gonna like this."
Yeah.
I don't know if he played it, but I'm looking to hear from him. And it's 5 to 15 minutes, man. You've got the time. So
Yep.
he's like this mega Persona fan.
Now, speaking of demakes, I guess I have a little bit of news that can dovetail into that.
Okay.
And that's, you remember the other week we were talking about that demake of Bloodborne, and I just even mentioned it just a second ago how there's a little bit of something extra here, and I'll just show the trailer for this as well here.
Let's go.
Yep, that's the
demake.
the demake dude. He's walking with purpose there. Yeah. Bloodborne Kart.
Oh man, I can't wait. Coming when it's ready. I love it. Is coming when it's ready.
Classic.
Dude, Bloodborne Kart is hilarious.
I cannot
no
wait.
inverted color this time though.
Yeah, not this time.
Yeah, it's so weird. It just keeps inverting color randomly. Okay, so about the Bloodborne card. So apparently it all started as an April Fool's joke. Where the developers said that, oh yeah, I'm totally gonna do a Bloodborne card one day, haha. and it became a meme because the Bloodborne Demake kept getting delayed.
Mm-hmm.
So all the fans who were watching, the developments that go, it's like, oh yeah, it's only being delayed because the guy keeps working on Bloodborne Kart instead. So ha ha ha. So now that the Demake is done, he's coming back. It's like, you know what? Bloodborne Kart actually sounds pretty fun. I'm gonna work on that now. So I love it. I love it.
There's
Yeah,
nothing.
so
There's nothing better than a stupid idea that works.
yeah, absolutely. So and I think it's very apt because April Fool's is coming. This started off as an April Fool's joke, and now it's coming full circle into an actual project, and we're happy, just this elated, to let you all know that from the developer of the Bloodborne PSX comes Bloodborne Kart. It's go time, people. It's go time.
Let's do
I
it.
can't wait. I can't wait. I want to see this. So yeah, we'll be linking the teaser in the video, of course, in the comment section. I mean, not the comments, in the description.
Yes.
All right. So, do you wanna talk about that last piece, or should I do it?
Nah, you go for it, man.
All right. Are
I've
you
still
gonna eat
got.
some more snacks?
I've still got one snack left. I'm
I
eating like
also
a.
have one snack left.
Oh,
You know what? We'll take time. I'll start, and then you can tell me what you think, and then I'm gonna eat my last mochi. Okay. It's Hey, what are you eating now? Oh, that one. Oh, that one's good. That one's good.
it looks.
That one's
Are those sugar crystals or salt crystals? They look like salt crystals.
MSG.
Oh, even better.
MSG crystal. Anyways, okay, let's go. So, this is the last piece of the news that we'd like to cover for our show. The Gamer, our friends over at The Gamer, has reported that a kid launched a 24-hour stream on the 21st to help fund his Pokemon World Championship trip out to England. So it's a pretty heartfelt story, I think. So I kind of want to share that with you guys.
Mhm.
Whenever we see fun things happening in sort of the fan community, I do want to try to make sure that we should. And this is going to be a pretty obscure one, but a pretty meaningful one. So the young man's name is Liam. He is a Pokemon fan, and he's looking to raise $5,000 Canadian dollars to travel to England from the British Columbia. And in order to participate in the Pokemon World Championship, Liam has high functioning autism. And he says, in quote, hyper focus for certain things and can do them really well. And Pokemon is one of those things. As of the time of the writing, Liam is about $1,000 short of his dream to compete this year. He's made it. He's traveled to the States. He's traveled to Portland to compete in order to get enough points. But he has enough points. But unfortunately, the championship this year is not in the States, which obviously, for logistical reasons, is a lot easier to travel to from British Columbia. But instead, this time will be held in good old England, which requires him flying, accommodation, and also parentals.
Good old
He's
British
been
Britannia.
from one Britain to another. Yeah, so he's been shoveling snow, as he said. He's been doing odd jobs to try to help fund this thing, but he's just short. So if any of you guys hear this and you go, hey, I want to be able to help little Liam, uh, we'll be linking his GoFundMe in the description. Help this young man out. I think it's super meaningful, especially in, I think, but I guess for someone who has autism, I don't have autism, but I can just imagine, life's kind of probably already kind of tough. And then we've got, the pandemic. It, you know, we got to do what we can do to sort of like lighten their the world up one at a time. So if he's willing to go and do a 24-hour stream, which I can tell you from experience is freaking rough.
Yep.
Among other things, I think the last thing I can do is just be however much of a microphone I can, or not a microphone, or however
Megaphone.
much signal boosting, yes, that we can do for this endeavor. That's what we're doing. So,
Yeah.
any thoughts, Derek?
I mean, yeah,
I'm
I don't
eating
know.
what you meant.
It's kind of a nice, like, I mean, we generally try to stick to just games news and industry news and stuff like this. But I mean, it's nice to be able to focus on cool little like smaller things, little I don't know, uplifting news. I guess that people are kind
Yeah.
of rallying around this kid. That's super cool. Yeah.
Yeah, they've raised about $4,000 now.
Wow.
He's looking for Canadian dollars, and this has been sort of echoed by some pretty notable community members. So I
Mhm.
think it's pretty cool that this is that being shared. So you may hear about this, in a week or two,
Yeah.
but just don't remember that you heard it here first.
That's awesome. Yeah. Go Liam.
Yeah, go Liam. Yeah, I went and donated some money already. So I'm not saying you guys need to, but I'm just saying that I would never ask you to donate things if I don't donate to it.
All right. So
And this mochi is amazing. Oh my god.
it's really good. Now, Baku, before we wind down, what are you doing as you as you throw a mochi in?
What I'm doing right now is trying not to choke on this mochi.
Good call.
Um,
You can. I've seen diagrams. People like say like if someone's choking on a mochi, that you get like the vacuum cleaner hose and like kind of. Have you heard about that?
No, I have not.
Because
What?
X number of people choke on mochi every single year because it's just the perfect like diameter to totally just close off a windpipe. So if you know somebody who's choking on a mochi who can't get it up or down, then I've heard here. Let me fact check myself, but I've heard that a possible solution to this could be to use the a vacuum cleaner, like the
Oh my
hose
God.
portion of it, and suck the mochi out.
Okay. Well, while you do that, what am I doing? Let's see. So I will be streaming actually tonight. I'll be streaming right after the podcast. So you guys want to come hang out? Head on over to twitch.tv/BakusanJRPG. Links will be in the description. Where we will be finishing off Like a Dragon. Saying goodbye to this beautiful turn-based RPG. And then after that, I will be starting a little gem that we've covered called The Cruel King and the Great Hero, starting on Wednesday. And I do stream Wednesday through Saturday, typically, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So please come by to hang out. Again, the link will be in the description down below.
Awesome. All right. Now, before I dive into my stuff here, let me just share this news article with you here, Baku.
Oh my God. Yes, please.
Daughter uses vacuum cleaner to save dad's life.
In Sapporo. Okay. So this is
Sapporo.
Hokkaido.
An elderly gentleman was. Oh, and this is, by the way, as reported through japantimes.co.jp.
Mhm.
An elderly man was choking on mochi rice cake that was saved by his daughter, who sucked it out using a vacuum cleaner. Local fire department officials said on Sunday. The incident
Wow.
occurred at 7:20 a.m. on Tuesday when the man, 70, was eating soup with mochi at the house in Noboretsu.
Mhm.
I don't know if I said that right, but probably not. But anyways,
Eh,
which is in southwestern Hokkaido, the
of
officials
course.
said. Of course, as we all know,
Nobody betsu.
nobody bitsu. Okay.
Nobody betsu. Yeah.
The woman had already extricated the mochi from the choking father at the time that the fire department emergency workers arrived, they said. The man was conscious and was his breathing patterns and blood pressure and pulse returned to normal. The woman was lucky in vacuuming out the mochi, but you have to be careful as such an action often hurts the inside of the mouth, said the department.
Mhm. Yes.
Mochi is a seasonal delicacy in Japan made from a very glutinous rice. Elderly
Yes.
people often choke on it as a result, as it is difficult to chew and swallow.
It really is. It really is. I don't know what is up with Japanese people eating super dangerous foods. Like they're eating pufferfish. And then when they're not eating pufferfish, they're eating mochi. It's like they're finding new ways to like kill you with their foods.
Death by Mochi sounds like about the best way to go, though, to be honest.
Mm,
Mm.
I don't. I don't know about that. Mochi is really good.
It is so good. I know. He died doing what he loved most, eating Japanese food.
Oh boy.
All right. So now that I've reported the news, I will say now, Bokksu, since that's very cool that you've been playing the what was it called again? The
Yakuza Like a Dragon.
no, the other one, the cute one. Or is that you're gonna play it soon?
I will start it this coming Wednesday. Yes.
Okay, I was gonna ask you what your thoughts, but you're gonna play it on Wednesday. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Start this.
I was
Wednesday.
distracted looking up the news article at the time.
That's okay. Yeah, I figured.
All right. Well, anyways, so what I'm doing and what people can find for me here. So Friday videos are back on the menu, everybody.
Oh.
That's the first thing. And you might have noticed if you watched last Friday, or this most recent Friday's video, that I happen to have a very new piece of merchandise dropping called the Hype Responsibly t-shirt. And supplies are very limited. We are actually, I had enough to have 50 made up front for this very first print run edition, most of which have sold out. We have, last I saw, we just have large size t-shirts left. And that also comes with a first print run edition emblem on the nape of the neck, as well as a hand calligraph. That's me doing calligraphy, like actual like ink pen writing. Like it's a skill I've been working on. It's hand calligraphed, hand sealed with a wax seal, numbered, and it's got an autograph on there if you want it. Just a little thing for me to throw in to help make the collector's edition version, if you will, a little more special. But again, we only have like a few left. So if you want it, you better act soon. Otherwise, yeah, we might not. But check it out because Switch Wicked, the friends of mine who are making these shirts, super awesome people. It's like a locally made, locally like hand printed. It's not like a machine that's like printing these things out or anything. It's like it's high quality shirts. By the way,
Yeah.
so that's one thing that you might have missed on Friday. Also, one other thing came out on Friday, and that's my very first of 3 collaborations with collaborative retrospectives with Bitmap Books. Basically, I've put out 3 different videos for them to put out on their channel. And the very first one came out on Friday, I think, or was it Thursday? It might have been Thursday. It was my retrospective covering the Quest for Glory series of PC games. Very cool.
Wow.
Yep. So check that out if you haven't already. And also, over on Twitch, I'm now streaming the Golden Sun games. Well, just the first one for now. I know.
Finally.
I've gotten so many requests over the years to play that.
Finally. Yeah.
Yeah. So finally playing Golden Sun. Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday over on Twitch. And you can find me with links in the description. Now, it is time to respond and answer some of these super chats that we've been getting. And people have been going a little crazy today, actually. So
Can I just be honest with you guys? Like, making these videos is fun, but honestly, the most fun I have is reading super chat and reading comments. So if you want to make me happy, send me super chat and type the comments after the video, because I've read every single one of them, and sometimes I will reply. Sometimes.
So the first one here comes from our good friend Naticus. Speaking of Falcom piranhas,
Oh God.
he says, "Why do you both sound drunk?" Oh wait, that's me.
Hype responsibility, but also drink responsibly.
Very, very well put. Good point there, Naticus. Good point there, Baku.
You drink responsibility too, Derek.
Duobeard has asked, where can we get SuperDerek theme songs with lyrics? And well, I think that really my only real response to that, Duobeard, has to be for you to just be the change that you want to see in the world, my friend.
I thought it had lyrics.
My
Here.
theme song?
Yeah, it's do 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 do. Yeah, see, that's the lyrics.
Keep going. Just kidding.
Do-do-do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do. Don't dare me.
I love it. Okay, well, there you go,
got you,
Duo
man.
Beard. There you go. Naticus also said thoughts about Netflix getting into gaming.
Netflix getting into gaming. Okay, so I know
I
that
don't
they're
know.
doing like no, so what I remember is that they're trying to do something like what is it called? Streaming. Game streaming. So in
Mhm.
that sense they get into gaming. Uh I just don't think that game streaming is a very viable business
You know, I was gonna
because
say Netflix or I'm sorry, Google
Google
tried to do
tried
it, and Stadia. Yep. Yes,
Stardia, yeah,
Starvia. Yeah, that's basically it.
whatever.
No, it was Stadia. Yeah, Google Stadia. I mean, the might of Google tried and then failed. Um,
Yeah.
didn't Amazon also try to do
Miserably.
something similar?
I think Amazon was itching to do it, and then they're like,
And then they
maybe
didn't.
not. That
Yeah.
was not a good move.
Nintendo is even trying to do game streaming, and
Yeah.
they're failing at it.
Mm.
I mean, cloud version of Kingdom Hearts. Yeah.
Anybody? Yeah, $80.
So it doesn't matter
$80.
how passionate you are about games. I guess it's not Nintendo's fault, but it doesn't matter like how experienced you are in making games, as proved by Square Enix. It doesn't matter how deep your pockets are, as proved by Google. I think right now, game streaming just isn't there yet.
I mean, do we even want that necessarily? Right? Because well, it's two things. Like the infrastructure is not there, but for sure, because I think that's the biggest problem is this connectivity issue, right? If you want to play an action game, imagine you're trying to play a fighting game where every millisecond you're looking at hitboxes, any amount of delay is unacceptable, right? You
Yep.
can't play that. First person shooters, same thing. Like as much as I don't play those games, I mean a lot of people do, right? So that's a lot of your customers. Well, do you have enough infrastructure? Not just from the billion-dollar company. I mean the internet. Anything that goes from the server to your household, to your console, PC, whatever you're using to interface with that programming,
Mhm.
back to the server, and then back to you as a response. That takes time.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that's
And
one of the reasons that Google tried to cut some of that middleman out by having your controller directly connected to the internet, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's going to have to be some sorts of weird workarounds like that. And I don't know.
Wizardry, it needs to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and
I don't know.
it's also going to be very highly dependent on, I mean, your network access, right? Like how good is your own ping, right? Like
Yeah.
to whatever services. That's going to be huge, and it's not just like as simple as, oh, I have broadband, therefore I can stream. It's like, yeah, you can have broadband, but what degree of broadband? Like how quick is your ping? How many relays does your traffic have to get through before it reaches, you know? Yeah, it's complicated stuff, but
I guess sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and more complicated than I even know.
Yeah.
I mean, Netflix does have some smart people. I'm sure that they've overcome certain challenges. I just don't know. I don't know. I haven't seen anybody overcome these challenges, so I don't have any particular reason to believe that Netflix would be the one to overcome them. But we'll see.
Absolutely. I think if anyone has the best shot at it, honestly, is probably Amazon. Amazon, because they've got AWS, like they know how to deliver content to people, like in a logistical way. Like
Mhm.
they know how to store and do all this, like better than any other company. I would say.
But then again, the question though is, even if they could, how many people are really chomping at the bit for it?
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. Like, that's the real question. So, Derek, I don't know, Derek. What do you think? Let's say that there's some kind of wizardry here, and you can just have this happen tomorrow. Would you even want to just stream games?
Me personally, no. But,
Mhm,
I'm thinking from the perspective of somebody who would download a game and just have the game on their console.
mhm,
Well, why not just skip the middleman? Like that, from that perspective of like just owning the game in the cloud, like you already just own it on the cloud anyway, right? So why bother having the console that goes with it? Like if you don't need, if you're not worried about the ownership of the game, why worry about the ownership of the machine? Like I guess from that perspective, sure, maybe that makes sense.
mhm.
Um, I, I just, I don't know.
Subscription,
It's just a foreign thing for
subscription.
me. Yeah, that's
It,
true.
it it really is. It really is. I mean, the thing that I can see it kind of working, and again, it goes with the whole like connection thing that's kind of like won't work. But let's say that I could play this anywhere, and internet connection just so good that this is not a concern.
You're playing
I
from
can,
South Korea. Gotcha.
yeah, I can. I mean, I can theoretically take the controller and just go anywhere and play any game on any TV, granted that, I mean, provided that there's,
Hmm.
connection to
Yeah.
it, right? But in a perfectly ideal world, yeah, that could be a scenario. I just pay some kind of subscription, like $15 a month, right? And
I wouldn't
and
do
I
it for
travel a
15.
lot. I travel a lot.
Hmm.
Okay, I'm not gonna bring a console with me everywhere. I want
Yeah.
all my games in the library. Yeah, I can see that. In a,
Yeah.
in a perfect ideal world, maybe.
I'm trying to
Uh,
figure out at what point it becomes a financially like viable thing because let's say a console is say $500 and they release a new one every 5 years.
mhm.
So you would have to pay about, let's say, $100 per year for a subscription service before it starts making like breaking even to buying a console, right? That's my mental prospect,
Well,
which
but the subscription also gives you the
the
games,
portability though.
right?
Does it
Yeah.
though? Because
Does it?
not with Google's service it didn't.
Oh, it didn't.
No, there were
Oh, okay, that changes everything.
some were included, some were not.
Yeah, that changes everything. I guess
Yeah.
that's why the Switch is still so popular, to much to some people's,
Chagrin, yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
because they don't like the Switch. "Ah, the Switch, ah." Yeah, it's like, yeah, but the Switch is great for people who are traveling on the go and they can dock it. Believe it or not, a lot of people are always just traveling and they do want, but they do still want like a console experience whenever
Mhm.
they are at home. So it's like that's the perfect marriage between the two. And they came up with a way to make it happen. It's brilliant. Say what you will about lack of 4K, but hey, like it hits a different checkbox for different people. So,
Absolutely.
all good for that.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead. We've been dwelling on that one for a minute.
Yeah, sorry. That was
No, no.
interesting. Yeah.
It is a very good question. Still Alive says, I keep seeing that Lunar Silver Star story artwork in the background for Sega CD, and it makes me wish someone would port those games to modern consoles. Me too. That would be nice.
Mhm.
I would like for I think Gung Ho Entertainment right now. I think they own the rights. Same with the Grandia series. Mhm.
Oh, you know what? Well, if they own the Grande series, then maybe.
It's possible,
Yeah.
but I
Let me
don't
see
think
who
it's very
owns it now.
likely. I'm pretty sure it's still Gung Ho because they own a lot of the rights to Game Arts stuff.
Yeah. Well, Game Arts. Yeah.
Yeah, Game Arts owns Lunar and Studio X. Actually, a couple
Mhm.
years ago, they put out a questionnaire to fans or to fans of the Game Arts stuff, asking like what people would be interested in the future of Game Arts' IPs, and there were a lot of responses to that, but I don't know whatever came
Hmm.
of it. It was around the time that they started announcing
Yeah.
the Grandia series remasters, though. It was a little bit after they announced them.
Well, hopefully Lunar Remaster's gonna. I do like Lunar, so there's that.
Me too.
Yeah.
Naticus threw in another super chat here. Says, Team Bright
Hello.
represent. Yep.
Wow, you are drunk. Okay.
Duo Beard also threw out here. He says, "How do you two feel? Stranger of Paradise winning Game of the Year."
That game is trash and no one should play it. I'm just kidding. I've been telling him every time he comes to my stream that that game is trash, but I can't do that here because
It's true.
this is the hit point. So
Yeah.
my objective feeling about the game is it's not for me. They're competing against some tough competition. Elden Ring, I think, is gonna blow it out of the water.
Chrono Cross
in
remaster. Yeah. Live Alive remaster. There's going to be a lot of RPGs coming out this year that
No,
aren't Strangers of
well,
Paradise. So
well, I mean, I mean, just in that, like, you know, sector of RPGs, like,
yeah,
you know, Live Alive is RPG and Elden Ring's RPG, but they're very different, right? But like when you're competing for that same
Forspoken.
population, yeah. Oh, like the sort of like the blood, not blood,
Yeah.
the Soul-esque kind of like RPG, like the Neo, the Sekiro, like those kind of games.
yeah,
I think Elden Ring's got
got the edge.
got the edge, yeah, in terms of just popularity and
Yeah.
reception wise. So unfortunately, now, but for those folks who likes those games, it's nice that you've got another title that you can sink your teeth in after you're done with Elden Ring, which a lot of folks are now at this point finishing up their first playthrough. So they want to just get some kind of palate cleanser before they go for a second run of Elden Ring. You can certainly try Final Fantasy Origin. Definitely not a game for me though. I tried it and I just really did not like it. But yeah, but I'm gonna give Elden Ring a try too. So we'll see if I like that one a little more.
Cool. Naticus has a suggestion for next week's episode. He says he needs us to both just look into the camera and only say Atelier and then move on without saying anything else.
Atelier?
Because we were talking about how we've mentioned it a few times, you know. Just mention it once, just name drop Atelier and then move on.
Atelier. Okay.
We can do
Got
that.
it. We can do that.
Still
do it for you.
Alive has a question for me here who asks,
Okay.
when is the next How to RPG coming? Love that series so far. Well, thank you very much. The next one is actually almost done being written, and I'm hoping that it's going to be this Friday's video. So keep an eye out for that.
Awesome. We'll be keeping an eye on that one.
So thank you guys so much for your support this evening. That was wonderful. And
That
appreciate
was
those messages.
painless.
Yeah. I mean, not like those other times.
Not like those other times. No, yeah.
We don't talk about those.
painful.
Yeah, we don't talk about the painful ones. All right. Well, I think that about brings us to the end of tonight's stream. So thank you all for joining us. I hope that you had a great time. If you are new here and if you liked what you saw or listened to, make sure to give it a like, follow us, give us a subscription or whatever it is that you are able to do on your podcasting platform of choice. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, Bokksu, have you got any parting words?
Atelier.
Hype responsibly, everyone.
Goodbye.